On Earth, some bears rule dense forests, commanding territories rich with life and abundance. Others dominate the vast, frozen landscapes of the Arctic, masters of a world of ice and snow. But there is one bear that lives where forests do not exist, where water is nearly absent, and where survival itself seems like an impossible defiance of nature. This desolate place is the Gobi Desert, and the creature struggling to survive here, a living ghost in a sea of sand and rock, is known as the Gobi Bear, the rarest and most elusive bear on the planet. Welcome to the Animal World TV, where we journey to the planet S, most extreme environments, to uncover the harshest survival stories in the animal kingdom. The Gobi Desert, a colossal expanse stretching across the vast territories of Mongolia and northern China, is a land of brutal contradictions. It is a place that tests the limits of all life. In the searing heat of summer, temperatures can soar above 45 degrees Celsius or 113 degrees Fahrenheit, turning the arid landscape into a furnace. Yet, in the depths of winter, the same land is gripped by a merciless cold, with temperatures plunging to a bone-chilling -40 degrees Celsius, a temperature where Fahrenheit and Celsius scales meet in their extremity. Rain is an anomaly here, a fleeting gift that rarely graces the parched earth. As a result, vegetation is sparse, scattered, and tough, clinging to life with desperate tenacity. This is a world pushed to its absolute limits, where every day is a battle against thirst, hunger, and exposure. For most bear species, with their need for dense forests, plentiful food, and abundant water, an environment like the Gobi would mean certain extinction. It is a habitat fundamentally unsuited for their kind. But here, against all logic and expectation, one bear has carved out an existence, defying the very definition of its species. And as the Animal World TV reveals, its story is one of endurance. Unlike any other, the scientific name for this phantom of the desert is Ursus, arctos gobiensis, a critically endangered subspecies of the common brown bear. But its reality is far from common. Today, the most generous estimates suggest that fewer than 40 individuals are believed to survive in the wild, a population so small it teeters on the very brink of vanishing forever. Their existence is confirmed in only one place on the entire planet: the harsh, remote wilderness of the Great Gobi, a strictly protected area in southwestern Mongolia. Visually, the Gobi Bear is a stark reflection of its environment. It is noticeably smaller and leaner than its more robust brown bear cousins, a physical adaptation to the scarcity that defines its life. Its fur is thinner and often lighter in color, ranging from brownish yellow to a pale, sun-bleached blonde, providing camouflage against the rocky, sandy terrain. Their bodies, stripped of excess fat, are living symbols of endurance and scarcity, each sinew and bone a testament to a life lived at the edge of possibility. They are not giants of the wilderness, but ghosts, shaped by hunger and hardened by the relentless desert. The Gobi Bear's survival strategy is a masterclass in energy conservation. Unlike their forest-dwelling relatives who might aggressively hunt for large prey, these bears cannot afford the luxury of such an energy-intensive lifestyle. Instead, they are masters of restraint, moving with a slow, deliberate pace that conserves every precious calorie. They spend long periods resting in the shade of cliffs or within cool, secluded caves, sheltering from the brutal sun and avoiding unnecessary exertion. This is a life lived in slow motion, dictated by the rhythm of scarcity. Some individuals have been observed surviving for days on end without drinking a single drop of water, a feat that would be fatal for most large mammals. Their bodies are honed to extract maximum sustenance from minimal resources, a biological miracle forged in the crucible of the desert. Here on the Animal World TV, we call this remarkable adaptation survival through restraint, a philosophy of existence where doing less is often the key to living one more day. For the Gobi Bear, a meal is not a feast. It is a fortunate discovery. In this barren land, there are no salmon-choked rivers to fish in, no lush forests full of berries and nuts to forage through. The Gobi Bear's diet is a mosaic of whatever the desert grudgingly offers. It feeds on the tough, fibrous leaves of desert plants, digs for the starchy roots of wild rhubarb, and scavenges for insects hidden beneath rocks. Every meal is profoundly uncertain. The bears must rely on their intimate knowledge of the landscape to find these scattered sources of nutrition. They are also opportunistic scavengers, feeding on the carcasses of animals that have succumbed to the harsh conditions. their deaths providing a rare but vital source of protein. For these bears, eating is not an act of abundance or pleasure. It is a desperate, ongoing quest for survival, where each mouthful is a victory against starvation. In the vast, arid expanse of the Gobi, water is not just a resource. It is life itself, the single most critical element for survival. The Gobi bears have developed an astonishing mental map of their territory, memorizing the precise locations of the rare desert springs and oases that dot the landscape. These scattered water sources are the epicenters of life in the desert, and the bear's survival depends entirely on their ability to find them. This search for water often forces them on epic journeys. A Gobi bear might travel tens of kilometers across rugged, unforgiving terrain, a relentless pilgrimage driven by thirst, just to reach a single, trusted water source. The stakes of this journey are impossibly high. To miss a spring, to find it dried up, or to arrive too late, could mean a slow, agonizing death from dehydration. In T's world, every drop of water is a jewel, and the path to find it is a tightrope walk between life and death. The Gobi bear leads one of the loneliest existences in the entire animal world. They are fundamentally solitary creatures, a lifestyle enforced by the extreme scarcity of their environment. The desert simply cannot support groups of bears, so each individual roams a vast home range alone, a silent wanderer in an immense and empty landscape. Encounters with other bears are exceptionally rare, events that might occur only once in a lifetime for some individuals. These vast distances and the critically low population density make social interaction nearly impossible. Unlike other bear species, where individuals may congregate at rich food sources, Gobi bears have no such opportunities. Their lives are defined by extreme isolation, a silent, solitary struggle for survival played out across hundreds of square kilometers of desolate terrain. This is not a choice, but a necessity dictated by a world that offers too little to share. In such a fragmented and isolated population, reproduction is a slow, fragile, and uncertain process, a desperate race against the ticking clock of extinction. Finding a mate in the vastness of the Gobi is a monumental challenge in itself. Even when a female successfully gives birth, the journey for her cubs has only just begun. The young face a gauntlet of extreme risks from the moment they are born. They are vulnerable to the desert's brutal temperature swings, with freezing winters and scorching summers posing a constant threat. Starvation and dehydration are ever-present dangers, as the mother must find enough food and water for herself and her offspring in a land of scarcity. Every birth is a fragile miracle, a tiny spark of hope in a vast wilderness. Every cub that survives to adulthood represents not only the continuation of its lineage but also a flicker of hope for the entire subspecies, a small victory in the face of overwhelming uncertainty. While the Gobi bear has adapted to the natural challenges of its environment, its greatest and most insurmountable threat is now a man-made one. The specter of climate change looms large over the Gobi, intensifying the droughts that have always defined this land. As rainfall becomes even more unpredictable and temperatures rise, the desert's fragile oases are at risk of drying up, and the sparse vegetation the bears rely on could disappear entirely. Furthermore, human activity encroaches on their last refuge. Livestock, introduced by nomadic herders, competes directly with the bears for the same scarce food and precious water sources. The expansion of mining operations and the construction of roads and infrastructure fragment their already limited habitat, creating barriers that further isolate the tiny population. The Gobi bear does not naturally fear humans, but it is human activity, both direct and indirect, that will ultimately decide its fate. In the face of these mounting threats, a desperate effort is underway to save the Gobi bear from extinction. Conservation programs, led by the Mongolian government and international partners, are focused on a multi-pronged approach to protect the last remaining individuals. The heart of this effort is the Great Gobi, a strictly protected area, a vast territory that serves as the bear's final refuge, where human activity is severely restricted. Within this protected zone, conservationists have established artificial water points and supplementary feeding stations to help the bears survive periods of extreme drought and food scarcity. Researchers use satellite tracking collars to monitor the bears' movements and health, gathering invaluable data to better understand their needs. This is not just conservation. It is an emergency intervention, a race against time to pull a species back from the brink. The Gobi Bear is not the strongest bear, nor is it the largest. It cannot command the same fear or awe as a grizzly or a polar bear, but it represents something far greater. The incredible, resilient power of life to persist against seemingly impossible odds. Its struggle is a quiet, humble, yet profound testament to the tenacity of nature. A story of adaptation in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. This is the core message that the Animal World TV strives to share with every story we tell: the hidden, often silent, battles for survival that unfold across our planet every day. Somewhere in the endless, silent expanse of the Gobi Desert, a solitary bear continues to walk, step by weary step. It moves across the sand and rock, searching for water, searching for food, searching for survival. No one knows for certain if future generations of humans will ever see the Gobi Bear outside of photographs or in documentaries like this one. Its future hangs by the thinnest of threads. If you care about the future of wildlife, about the fate of our planet's most endangered species, and about the hidden struggles of nature that define our world, subscribe to the Animal World TV. Join us in our mission to document and help protect the last, most vulnerable survivors of our planet.